Good morning and welcome to Breathing for Life. This morning we are joined again by Maria Connolly, who's going to do this morning's breath workshop. Good morning, Maria.
Morning, Susie.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. A
You
little
look,
bit tired
you
weekend,
look
but
the joys of spring. So I was thinking this morning we could probably talk about how breath work is helping people during lockdown. Like, have you had a lot of people coming to you saying, "Oh, I just can't deal with this anymore?" Because we're all having those moments of, "Will this ever end?" and I can't do this.
yeah, for sure. I know a lot of people are having a hard time with it, and it's understandable. But for me, this is an opportunity, for growth, development, and to really get into some type of self-development practice, whether that be breath work, meditation, learning a new skill. A lot of people are working from home now, and that might give them an extra couple of days or a couple of hours in the day to, you know, try that new hobby or try a new skill. But I do say to people, like, the breath work gives you the motivation and the drive to do it. In the first place, because it's really hard to motivate yourself to do things that you should be doing. But if you just push yourself that little extra and take some type of like the Wim Hof method is only one type of breath work practice. But learn some type of breath work practice, even just become conscious of your own breathing, and that will give you a lot of motivation. Like change the oxygen levels around the body. Um, get the blood flowing throughout the body, because when the blood is flowing, it gives you that kind of, you can move more, you can think more. It's funny, if you're not breathing properly, you can't even think. So just give yourself that gift of the breath work.
Because
And
if you're walking around not breathing properly, you're kind of walking around in a perpetual state of mild panic and you don't realize it.
absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people are walking around in that, it's basically an anxiety state. You're
Mm.
shallow breathing into your chest, causing that kind of short breath through the mouth. And people are just like, why am I so, you know, stressed or panicked all the time? And they're not even thinking about the breath. That's
Mm.
where it starts. So yeah, definitely, for sure, breath work is just magical, really.
Yeah, and they'll probably go to the doctor and they'll be given like some kind of pill that's not going to make a big difference. Whereas not all, but like part of it, like healing yourself, is learning to like breathe properly, take time for yourself, and meditate. So with breathwork practice, would you recommend doing it in the morning or before bed?
Um, I myself do it first thing in the morning, just while I'm lying in bed. And
Mm.
then sometimes you don't even have the motivation to get out of bed, or you're stuck in the bed and you have no energy maybe when you woke up. But when when you practice the breath work first thing in the morning, it might change your whole outcome of the day. So I would suggest the morning. But then, in the evenings, sometimes it's very hard to switch off and relax and have a restful, restorative sleep. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Wim Hof breathing, because that's very intense breathing before bed. But maybe something just slowing down the breath, really, really slow through the mouth. Maybe something body scanning. Sometimes just get you back into your body in the present moment, so you can allow yourself a nice restful sleep. But then, if you're feeling, that stressful, anxious feeling during the day, if you're triggered by something, great time to start breathing. Something like box breathing. When you find yourself in a stressful situation, you're inhaling for 4, you're holding for 4, and you're exhaling for 4. Don't forget that the breath changes your whole state, um, from that fight and flight, uh, sympathetic nervous system, back into that calm parasympathetic nervous system. So just whenever you're stressed, having a hard time, triggered, just think breath. Slow it down. Just be conscious.
So it's something like the box breathing. Do you sit down or can you do it standing up or?
Um, I would always try and take that kind of like time, even if you have to go to the bathroom, or you know just sit down. Just it only takes like a few seconds. Saying that if you're walking on the street and there's no time to sit down, or you're in like a very busy environment, just be conscious of the breath going in and out of the body to the belly. If that's all you can do, but even that will make a change.
Keep yourself, because I think it's fine sometimes I can just get so disconnected from myself when I'm in like stressful situations, and I need to get into that habit of remembering to breathe again properly. Although things aren't that stressful when you don't really leave your house that much. It's more you're just bored.
Yeah, yeah.
And in terms of like meditation practices, would you do your breathing and then do a meditation practice as well, or would you treat the breathing as being your whole meditation practice?
It can be both. So for me, the Wim Hof breathing activates the pineal gland, like your third eye. So I can kind of like see images and kind of like see what's going on here. So that brings me much quicker into meditation. Some people are able to go straight into that state straight away, but for me, the breath is a great tool to get into that really present moment, and yeah, just have that concentration. Because sometimes for me with meditation, your head can be all over the place, but after the breath session, you're ready to just focus and go really deep.
Yeah, I wish I was one of those people who could just go straight into a meditation. Like I find I'm like sometimes if I go to meditate, my mind starts to race more. And that's why I've
Yeah,
done a lot. I've said it to you before about I've done a lot of Kundalini yoga because I found because I'm doing moving work first, it stops my mind from racing as much. But I found with the Wim Hof, my mind doesn't race because I think I'm so focused on breathing and not breathing, and that's a really bad explanation, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
That it really does help, and then afterwards I'm just so much more focused. And if someone said, okay, just come into the room and just sit down and we'll play this nice music and start to meditate, I'd be like, I don't know, I'd be thinking about something I did when I was 5.
Exactly. I was going to say to you a minute ago, do you remember when we were talking about like at what point would you like start a breathing practice? It is any time, but have you ever noticed that you might be walking around or doing a task and you've held your breath and you're tensing like your jaw or your teeth? That happens as well, and you actually sometimes are forgetting to breathe because you could be just tensing up so much, and you're I suppose just not conscious. And that I found that can actually, my heart starts racing and I'm like, what's going on? It's like, oh my god, I literally just forgot to breathe.
I went through a really stressful time a couple of years ago, and I found that and I didn't realize it. I was clenching my jaw all the time, and
That's what I mean.
I'd sit down. When I go to sit down, I wouldn't be able to relax. And I'd realize because the tension was all starting there, and it took so long for me to work out how the most important thing to de-stress was my jaw.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And when you're like clenching your jaw like that, you're not breathing really. You are like to stay alive, but you're not like getting that full breath in and out. You're just like barely getting the breath in and out. That's what I find anyway.
Yeah. And so what are you going to do with us this morning?
I will just bring people through about 3 rounds of the Wim Hof breathing, and then we'll have just a relaxation meditation at the end.
Okay, brilliant. I think that's what so needed at the moment. I'm just so looking forward to things to just reopen and just be able to. No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking forward to the most. I think it's just seeing friends and going out for dinner and things like that.
Yeah, no, it'll be really nice when it gets back to that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, just focus on your internal world and what you can do for yourself and to relieve any kind of like stress. And this is an opportunity that's given to us to be able to for growth, I think.
Yeah, and what's that saying? It's something like we can't about being able to control. We can't control our external environment, but we can control our internal one.
For sure. I don't know if anyone's ever read Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. Have you read it?
No.
Basically, this person was able to find inner peace and happiness in a concentration camp.
Oh, wow.
So that's like the ultimate, lack of freedom.
Mm.
And whenever if I felt like, oh, our freedom is kind of might be taken away in some kind of aspects here, I'm like, well, just think of Viktor Frankl in a concentration camp, and see, our bodies might be trapped in some kind of way, but our spirit can go anywhere we want, and you can find that kind of like peace and joy within. So it doesn't really matter where we are or what we're doing. That's possible. And I'd recommend anyone to read that book because it's pretty inspiring.
What's the name of it again?
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Okay, cool. I am going to check that book out because I'm not reading it at the moment. Brilliant.
There's
So
there's an audiobook on YouTube as well if that's easier for people.
okay. Great. So I think we're going to go over to the live now. If you aren't already signed up to the Facebook page, the instructions should be in the drop-down box below.
Okay. Welcome if this is your first time joining us. And just for beginners, I'll just quickly give you a demonstration about what we're going to be doing. So as I was saying to Susie, a lot of people might be shallow breathing into their chest. So what we're going to be doing is breathing really deep from the belly all the way up to your chest. And then we're going to visualize it going to your head. So I don't know if you can see me here, but I'll just try to demonstrate. So you can see my belly there?
Yeah, we can see your belly.
Okay. So when you're taking a breath in, you're not actually sucking in your belly, you're expanding it. When you take a deep breath in, we're going to expand the belly. Just like that. Fully in and expand the belly. Okay, so give that a little try there.